Ah, the high school rom-com. Safe, fluffy goodness where the stakes of the real world give way to the biggest problem being that the main character can't quite seem to get their crush to notice them. It's a tried and true formula that's imperfect and cliche, but gives audiences exactly what they ask for. That's probably why these films keep getting made. There's a constant demand for this genre where viewers can just push away the hectic day, sit down with a glass of wine, and vicariously live out a fictional love story where someone else has to deal with the setbacks of a romantic entanglement. What sets Crush apart is it offers all of that, but for lesbians. What's this? A movie about lesbians that isn't a dark period piece with a tragic ending? Who would have thought? It's 2022 and Hollywood finally thought, why not sink a few $1 million into a harmless little movie for the gay girls? Millions of romances through the decades in film, all of them straight. But hey, the lesbians can finally put a notch on their side of the scoreboard for once. Crush follows a high school artist named Paige, played by Rowan Blanchard, who desperately wants her crush Gabriella, played by Isabella Fiara, to look her way. But, as the cliche goes, Paige is awkward, invisible, and never been kissed. To make matters worse, Paige is accused of being a graffiti artist who keeps decorating parts of her school with art incorporating bad jokes. The artist's name? King Pun. Seems they have a cult following on social media. This accusation eventually lands her in trouble with the principal, and she faces being expelled, which would ruin her dream of being accepted into a college summer art program. Paige then volunteers to uncover King Pun's true identity by joining the track and field team so the coach, played by Asif Manvi, her biggest accuser, can keep an eye on her. And folks can probably guess where the story goes from here. Gabriella is on the track and field team. A love triangle is introduced. High school shenanigans ensue. This film checks all of the high school rom-com boxes from main character goes to a party to badly timed misunderstanding almost ruins relationship with crush. But these cliches can't drag down Crush too much because 99% of other rom-coms rely on them simply to exist. The genre bills itself on predictability and being safe. The fans don't want to be jostled, they want to coast along, smile at the adorable moments, and gasp when something easily anticipated happens. None of these are bad things. They're part of what makes the rom-com genre so attractive to its audience. Crush has a few things going for it. For starters, it's edited and presented in quirky energy that matches the look and feel of high school life, complete with funny doodles and slow-motion walks when Gabriella is in Paige's line of sight. It's almost like director Sammy Cohen saw the opening and closing pencil sketch credits for Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies and went, I'm going to make an entire film with these. It vibes well with the overall theme. Most of the cast has a great chemistry on screen, from Paige's overly accepting sex-positive mother, played by Megan Mullally, embarrassing her, to Paige's cute moments with her crush. It's almost funny to see Crush flip the script and provide a token straight couple in a film filled with mostly queer relationships. A lot of the humor hits spot on and helps keep this fluffy bit of buttery goodness rolling along at a decent pace toward a brief runtime that doesn't overstay its welcome. Where the movie does suffer is Monvi's performance. It's not that he's a bad actor, he was just given a direction that doesn't make much sense. He's constantly flirting with Paige's mom and doing his best impression of Uncle Rico for Napoleon Dynamite. Very little of his material is funny, and his inclusion in the film is a bit of a question mark. The good news is he's not given too much screen time so that he runs down the film. And Crush dedicates the perfect amount of time to Paige's struggles in art and love. It's difficult to overstate how important Crush is as a lesbian rom-com. Even if Hollywood is a little more open to LGBTQ plus films and roles than it was a decade ago, there's not nearly enough material made for queer audiences to enjoy. And given that Zoomers are an increasingly queer generation, it would make perfect sense for new movies and TV series to reflect that demographic shift. Crush not focusing all its energy on Paige's sexual orientation is also refreshing. Compare it to 2020's Happiest Season, which was one of the first lesbian Christmas movies. While Happiest Season is overall an enjoyable film, it's wildly stressful how much of the plot revolves around the sexual orientation of Kristen Stewart's and Mackenzie Davis's characters, and keeping it a secret from unaccepting parents. The fact that Crush just has gay characters existing in a high school environment, doing things normal teens do every day without making a big deal about sexual orientation, is refreshing and one of the movie's biggest selling points. This isn't the greatest rom-com ever made. It's actually rather average, but the fact that lesbian audiences have finally reached a point where they can have a mundane rom-com is what's worth getting excited about. Only a few million more to go to even out the score. Better get busy, Hollywood.